Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the MHSAA State Championships presented to you by PlayVS. I'm Last, and I'm joined by the wonderful, as always, Skiff right next to me. But before we get into all this amazing action, we do have a quick word from our friends over at ePlex.
So, ePlex is your local esports and virtual reality complex featuring the Clutch Snack Bar. You can play, train, and compete in tournaments in leagues for all ages and all skill levels. ePlex offers memberships, gaming lock-ins, and launch parties for new games. We welcome gamers to come out and game together at your local ePlex. Honestly, just a big old shout out to these guys. Anytime we get someone supporting esports in the fashion that they are, especially for young kids and stuff like that. I mean, you got to support it. You definitely got to give out a big thank you. So thank you guys.
Yeah, but speaking of young kids and esports, some amazing high school esports athletes. So we will be getting into these sets very, very shortly. And I do believe we have our first set lined up already, Skiff, if you want to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it should be. I moved to okay. Yeah, so should be getting Joy. I believe that's how it is. Joy, probably Joy.
I'm gonna go with Joy.
Joy, versus Eli. So not familiar with either of the players. There's probably gonna be a recurring theme, but either way, it's new players for you and I to get the cast for and kind of figure out like what their play styles are, what they bring to the game that's a little bit different than other things. So I'm excited for it.
I mean, we did get to see a little bit of Joy earlier while we were in like our little green room. We saw them warming up with one of their teammates. They were playing Pichu there. I'm not sure if they're like a dedicated Pichu main or anything like that. But if they were warming up with the character, I would at least assume that they are going to be playing the character here in the real world, so to speak. But that does remain to be seen as we get ready to get started here. But the one important thing, Skiff, that I do want to point out real quick is that we're offline today. Last week, we did have the players playing from the comfort of their own home. This week, it is not the same thing. They are all in person at a venue together playing just some offline LAN Smash, which is always a great thing to see.
Absolutely, and it's even better because we still get the cast from the comfort of our home. So I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about. We're in the PlayVS Matrix here.
The Matrix, yeah. So the metaverse or whatever, and those things are. But it is what it is. It's still going to be a great time. Always down for some great offline action. I mean, was it you and I? We both have a little bit of something going on later. Yesterday, I was just up in New Jersey celebrating the 100th tournament for Fusion up there. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. Offline Smash is an absolute treat. And I know these guys are going to put on a fantastic show today. We are going to be having the LCHS taking on Tiger Smash 2. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Representing LCHS is Joy, Cheeto, and Elka. And then Tiger Smash 2 is Eli, Listless, and Tranquil. Tranquil?
Yes.
Tranquil?
I think that's just Tranquil, Skiff.
I wasn't sure if there's, whatever. Things happen.
I think that's just Tranquil, but either
it might
way,
just be Tranquil.
Both of these teams did actually have two different squads representing them in this tournament, as we see. The LCHS Gators A and the LCHS Gators B were earlier in this tournament, and of course here in Grand Finals we've also got Tiger Smash 2. Meaning that, of course, there had to be a Tiger Smash 1 somewhere. And they actually did end up losing to a different squad. But without further ado, it is time to get into our first game of our first set here. And, of course, we do have Joy playing the Pichu. Eli on the other side, a Sephiroth, which this is going to be a little bit of a tough matchup just because Sephiroth, he's so tall, he's going to struggle to hit the pancaking mouse.
Yeah, no, it's going to be absolutely interesting, like you mentioned, because this is actually a matchup I haven't seen too much lately. Sephiroth, definitely started off a little bit hot. Have a lot of people very interested in playing him. He's very fun. Pichu's a character that we haven't seen quite as much anymore. Still a glass cannon of sorts. But, after those nerfs, the Pichu fan base hasn't quite been the same. Ooh. But you get a situation like that where these huge sweeping hitboxes are going to be coming out from Sephiroth, and it's going to catch Pichu in some really awkward positions.
Yeah, it is a little bit difficult to deal with as Pichu rather. But Joy is going to be able to find that first stock there with the runoff spike. But I do like what you were talking about there, like where early in the game, Pichu was very much considered to be like a glass cannon, right? Because he was very easy to kill due to being one of the lightest characters in the game, but he had an insane damage output. However, after some unfortunate nerfs, he lost a little bit of that kill power, but as you can see here, he's still very, very strong.
No, Pichu still has a very, very good combo game, can put down lots of damage incredibly fast, has got some really good kill moves as well to kind of really put the emphasis that, you know, they're here to take some stocks, they got some power behind them. But, like, you know, they did lose some of their factor there. I believe the quick attack became a little slower. I'm not entirely sure. But the big thing was the forward tilt.
The F tilt,
it just wasn't quite, it wasn't quite exactly the same edge guarding tool that it used to be. But either way, Pichu's still a very strong character. The fact that people stop playing this character, I think, is a little crazy because, like, the offensive output is just so astronomically huge.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, obviously, is that, like, you used to see Pichu's just getting that, like, drag down into the F-tilt to kill it ridiculously low percent, regardless of what the recoil damage on them was. Now, it's not so much of a threat, but it's still certainly tough to deal with as we see that down smash connecting and Joy taking game number 1 of this best of 3, or best of 5, excuse me.
Yeah, so, I mean, it definitely started off a little bit slow there for Joy. But, like, as the game went on, we started to see that they started to figure out the rhythm. They started to get that motor going. And like you kind of mentioned earlier, last about how Sephiroth is a taller character and also actually pretty light too. It just, you know, it just took a matter of time before Joy was really able to just really kind of just go off. And as we saw, that took 3 stocks in a row after losing the first one.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that I love sharing with people when we see characters like Sephiroth on the screen is that sometimes, like, size and weight are not directly correlated because, fun fact, Sephiroth and Pikachu, not Pichu, but Pikachu, have the same weight value. So, a character that tall, that big of a hurt box, having a super low weight value means not only are they food for combos, especially for characters like Pichu, but they also die much, much earlier than most other characters would in situations like this. And that's kind of a recipe for disaster in a matchup like this.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out from here. I mean, Eli definitely started off pretty hot, right? So, I mean, you can definitely get back to that type of rhythm. But, man, Pichu is certainly playing fantastic here. Joy is doing a fantastic job. And there we go. We're starting to really see that combo game come out to play here. Definitely doing a fantastic job so far.
No, but does get the down tilt back onto the stage. It does seem like Eli is a little bit reliant on that down tilt to try and cross up shield, though. So I hope if Joy, because we see it again, if Joy can start to maybe catch on to it a little bit more and start punishing him for it, but he doesn't even need to punish the down tilt as he just punishes the neutral get up with the F smash, looks to do it again, can't quite find it, but is still going to be able to take the stock. Now puts himself on the verge of just another huge lead.
Yeah, we actually did see that forward tilt come into play there for Joy. They were able to, you know, find a way to get that connection. And it does happen to be with Sephiroth. Can go past the ledge a little bit if you're not careful. And, you know, that's what we saw right there. But right now, man, Joy just continues to go crazy in the combos. So you're trying to build up as much damage as possible. 90% now. That was a tough scenario to be in. The Octo Slash not going to be able to connect. And this is like the other thing, right? We just talked about how tall Sephiroth is. Pichu's on the opposite end of the spectrum there. You know, just absolutely tiny. And definitely a bit lighter, but, like, it's going to be harder to hit this rat, especially that forward tilt. I mean, Pichu just has to duck, and you're not going to be able to connect with him.
Right, Sephiroth's biggest thing in this situation is that his hitboxes are going to be super hard to place correctly to be able to connect with Pichu. And it seems that Eli is suffering from exactly that. Like, he's very rarely connecting with any meaningful hits, and the few meaningful hits that he does connect with, Joy manages to fall out of eventually before he can do anything with them.
Here we go.
Oh, there's the spike.
Oh. Yep, great stuff. And yeah, Joy just continues to just pop off here. There's no stop to this train, and I don't know, man. Eli's got to find something quick. Does get something right there. Okay, the forward air is going to be able to find a way to poke the rat to the blast zone. Finally getting on the board, but is it too late? I mean, Joy just continues to really impress us here, doing a fantastic job. Again, building up this damage. It just does not let up on the pressure at all.
One thing that I might like to see, because this is, of course, a best of 5, so we do, no matter the outcome of this, have at least one more game to follow. He almost found that down air. is maybe a different character coming out from Eli, because this matchup is tough. It is so hard for Sephiroth to deal with Pichu's tools. It's so hard for Sephiroth to hit him in the first place. And as you see right here, sometimes he just gets invalidated in the offstage game as Joy goes a little bit deep for a little bit of disrespect. So maybe, as Sephiroth is a DLC character, you know that Eli had to play someone before Sephiroth came out. So I'd maybe, just maybe, like to see that different character come out in this next game, because this Sephiroth is having a tough time, Skiff.
Yeah, they definitely are having a little bit of trouble. And I like you mentioned, there was a little bit of disrespect there. And I kind of like that. It's the second time we saw Joy do that. You know, Sephiroth was not going to recover. And they go out there for the down there just to really put the emphasis on there. You know, sometimes you need that. And that's the thing. They missed the first one, so they threw out the second one just to try to get it caught up. But sometimes you need to do that, you know, because it's all about getting into your opponent's head a little bit. Because, like, as much as it's just like regular sports, sometimes if you get into your opponent's head, you throw them off any groove that they were trying to get going, anything they had going, and all of a sudden they just cannot find a way to finish this out in any way, shape, or form. So this could potentially be a 3-0 to start things off if Eli doesn't find a way to turn this around. I mean, outside of the fact that, I mean, George honestly is just pretty much been outplaying them, but I mean, it is Sephiroth. Sephiroth is, you know, like you mentioned, a DLC character, so they kind of got some gimmicks up their sleeve. But I do want to see if there is a second character, like you mentioned, because I mean, some people did just pick up after Sephiroth came out. So I mean, who knows?
It is entirely possible, but it's not likely. Almost everybody in this game and almost everybody who plays this game at a high level does have at least one other character that they can pull out in case of an absolutely horrible matchup. And so it's always possible to see something like that. So as we get into game number 3, we'll just have to see if Eli tries out a different character or if they stick to their guns. Because again, it's not impossible. It's not undoable. The Sephiroth did have its moments where he was able to start landing those hits, where he was able to start landing those conversions. And if he can tap into that, start finding those a lot more frequently, then this suddenly becomes a whole lot better. But speaking of DLC, we've got another one coming out here to replace the Sephiroth. We got Min Min.
Yeah, and you know what? They could have possibly started with Min Min like your and my good friend Peckham. So
that is possible.
We'll definitely see how it works out here. Min Min is a different character. Also just kind of recently got some nerfs. So, I mean, they're not quite as, you know, offensive as they used to be. However, this character still controls so much space. It could be very difficult for Pichu to find the right movements to get inside. But that's the thing, is Pichu is very fast. And once they do get in, Min Min isn't exactly the quickest character in the game. So she could be getting comboed very fast. And then also, this is the big issue right here, getting off stage. And wow, actually just missing the proper hit, the thunder hitbox that they wanted to get the spike.
I'm going to level with you here, Skiff. I think Min Min was the wrong choice in this situation because Min Min suffers from the exact same problems that Sephiroth does in this matchup, and that problem is an inability to hit the rat. We're seeing it here again. They're not so much combo food as Sephiroth is in these situations, but it's still very, very difficult for Min Min to find those critical hits in these situations. And we're seeing just that here as Joy goes crazy off stage, forcing out an air dodge with that thunder and forcing Eli to fall to his death.
Yep, and here we go. Oh my god! Just sat there at the ledge, watched the megawatt go inches towards their face, and just stared death down. And just say, listen, I'm not going to move. If you hit me, you hit me, but if you don't, I'm going to make you pay for it. And we do see the SD from Joy. They're going to come right back in the second stock, putting out a bunch of damage already. 70%, and this might be it. No, actually doesn't find a way to finish the food.
Yeah, it doesn't finish the jab block out there. It looked like a prime opportunity for the jab F smash, but didn't capitalize on it at all. Now has Eli stuck off stage yet again. Just going to hop over that. Looks for the jab reset again, but still no dice on it.
Yeah, just a little off on it. And it might just be the fact that they're kind of playing relaxed. They feel very comfortable. Obviously, we've seen it a couple times now. So they might just be trying to do whatever they can. But there we go. Going to get that thunder after the up throw. They're going to close it out 3-0. Joy definitely leaving their mark on this game and just kind of really establishing a nice lead for LCHS as we get started.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing, Skiff, is unlike last week, where they were just, you know, in the comforts of their own home playing online versus each other, these players are sitting next to each other in the venue while they do this. So I can only imagine the kind of face that Joy was making towards the end of the game, because like you said, they were definitely feeling very relaxed, definitely like playing their game very, very confidently, definitely doing a great job. And, you know, that always feels pretty great. But as a result, they are going to find that first 3-0 victory, putting their team up 1-0 in the overall best of 3. Or I guess it is, we're still going to play all 3 matches regardless of the outcome of the first 2. So it's kind of just a 3 matches and whoever comes out on top, not a best of 3. But that is still going to be a point on the board for the side of LCHS. And coming up next, we're going to see Cheeto taking on Listless.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who our next competitors are going to be. Like you mentioned, Cheeto versus Listless. Now, Cheeto just has to find a way to take 3 more games, and that will secure the victory for LCHS. Again, we will be getting all 3 matches. You know, we want to let the players play. But it's just 3 more games, and then Cheeto will help their team find a way to clutch this out. So it's going to be up to Listless to come in here and try to change up the momentum. It looked like Eli was a little lost, and honestly, I can't blame him. Pichu is a character that I feel like we don't see as much anymore, and you kind of forget how strong this character is offensively. But, I mean, Joy definitely came out here and reminded all of us what the case was.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not a ton of top-level representatives left out there for Pichu, but he still does have his backers, right? You've got Void, who pulls him out from time to time. You've got Black Twins 13 up in Ontario, Canada, who plays the character at an incredibly high level. And you've got Joy here right now, absolutely washing that set to put a point on the board for their squad.
I can't believe you're going to sit there and exclude Arfang from your list. That's absolutely insane.
Arfang's retired, Skiff.
No, I think they were in the middle of classes, so they did the right thing and put school before Smash and just found a way to finish out their degree and whatnot. So I think they actually just moved up to New York, if I'm not mistaken. But that's another discussion for another time. Either way, there is still a lot of great Pichu players. Now, I wouldn't say Void as much. I feel like Void's pretty much just kind of on the Sheik train as it is, but it is what it is. We're just going to be waiting to see what these players are going to be coming in with. I'm hoping to see some good action. I mean, if that first set's anything to go by, I'm sure we won't be disappointed. But yeah, hopefully everyone at home is having a fantastic time. It's a good old Tuesday evening. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Tuesdays are always fun, especially when you get some play versus action on your screens on this fine Tuesday evening. And like you said, as soon as the players in person at the venue are ready to go, we should be getting into it, but it seems like we might have a slight technical issue, which they should fix in due time, so no worries about that. We'll still have our matches very shortly after this. But in the meantime, Skiff, I do want to ask you, Smash World Tour is coming up this weekend.
It is.
I gotta ask, who do you have winning it all? And give me one for Ultimate, give me one for Melee.
Come on. You know who I'm going to say for Ultimate. I don't want to say there's clearly only one choice, but it's the safe bet to go with MK Leo. However, I kind of want to take a step back here, and I want to say that this might be the time where Spargo finally takes one. And honestly, it'd be a great storyline too. We've seen Spargo get second place a couple times already, right? Definitely among at least second best in the world, right? I think we can agree on that.
I think we can agree on that for sure, at least in the current landscape. But Skiff, I do think you're discounting some very, very large threats that are in this upcoming bracket, not even counting the players who could make it from the LCQ.
Listen, there are some very fantastic players, right? I'm not trying to deny that at all, but like we already knew how good MK Leo was.
Oh yeah, I know
before,
how good MK Leo
right?
is.
After, yeah, I know you know, but we knew how good he was, before we went through, our 1.5-year break from offline or so. But since then, I feel like we haven't really seen a player as consistent as Leo, and I feel like Leo stepped it up a notch from previous. So I just feel like Leo is just so consistent right now. He's so strong. It's kind of hard to really discount him. I'm not trying to say other players can't do it, but just from what we've seen, it's hard to count Leo out in any aspect. Now for Melee, I got to go for my GOAT, Mango, all the time,
Mango's not
man.
competing.
He's not competing? I thought he was in there.
Mango is not in the Smash World Tour.
Oh, I thought he was. Anyway, so what, we got Zane?
I don't think Zane's competing either. I think there's no Zane, no Leffen,
No, Zane was there. Zane was there.
Oh yeah, Zane is competing. Never. It's IBDW. IBDW went home instead of playing.
Okay. No, I think IBDW is still showing up. Either way, he could be there, but I'd have to go look to see who's competing now because I have no idea. But if Zane's there, it's going to be Zane. It's, again, so consistent across the board. There's like 3 players who can actually, feasibly beat Zane, and that's when they're playing on like their absolute peak best. I mean, obviously, we just saw IBDW not too long ago just win Smash Summit 12. Congratulations, by the way. So I mean, they're feeling pretty good. They're riding that high pretty well. But other than that, I'm not too sure.
You've got our boy Hungry Box there, who on a good day can absolutely win any given bracket, but has had a couple lackluster placements recently. Has been cleaning up his game though, and is going to be looking to come out at the Smash World Tour very strongly. But going back to Ultimate, I do want to point out that there are a couple wild cards in there, and one of the biggest wild cards is Dabuz, because we have not seen Dabuz compete since the Rosa buffs. And I was talking to Dabuz last night, and he said he was going to torture some people with those Rosa buffs.
I also did forget about that, and I think you're absolutely correct in that sense that we have not seen Dabuz do that. But we've also, if you've been watching Dabuz's Twitter, has also left some pretty mysterious messages about playing Steve lately, and this could be something interesting.
Skiff, I want you to remember that I'm the reason that Dabuz was doing that.
No, he was always going to go. You knew it. I knew it. It was a matter of time.
Regardless, though, we are finally ready to get into our next set. We've resolved the technical difficulties, so we're going to be seeing Listless, the Cloud player, taking on Cheeto, the Falco player, and I'm always down to see some Falco, Skip.
Oh, absolutely. Falco's a super sick character. He's just a character that's just so cool in general, right? Always the cool guy of the Star Fox team. And then you got Cloud, who's literally one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. We all remember when people wanted Cloud in Smash, and it just seemed like a pipe dream that would never exist. But here we are, 2 characters deep into Final Fantasy VII into Smash Bros. Never thought we'd see it, but here we are right now. Small Battlefield 2. And as we get started here, it looks like Listless is doing pretty solid. I mean, they are a little bit behind in percentage, and now behind in stock. So Cheeto off to a hot start.
Yeah, just eats that F smash right to the face, but does quickly follow it up with the F tilt to try and take stage control away from Cheeto. Cheeto doesn't fall for it though, and he immediately gets that reset and chases on the roll out. Very, very well played for that little bit of extra percent. Now still holding on to the stock, finds the D tilt fair, but gets punished by a dare out of disadvantage to take away the stock. 48% extra credit is nothing to sneeze at though, especially when a Falco is on your screen.
Yeah, that's the thing you got to keep in mind here. Oh, unfortunate situation. They were not ready for the laser. They actually, I believe, might have sniped out their jump. It forced them into a position where they, weren't ready exactly to use their limit, and they were too low by the time they started to figure things out. So unfortunate situation there, but great stuff for Cheeto. A huge pickup, taking that second stock. Now they got to find a way back to stage. We know what Cloud can do when you're at the ledge. The pressure they can put down is insurmountable sometimes. Double down tilting under the laser, and oh no, what are you doing? Okay.
No, he's fine. He spaced that perfectly. Did manage to almost get that KO with it. Now back on stage though, and oh no, he's dead. Skiff, he just held down a little bit too far, expecting himself to be on the stage, and Listless is going to pay the price for that by falling to his demise. That's so unfortunate.
And actually what happened there on the final stock too is that Listless had limit ready to go, right? And I think what they were doing is they were trying to get to the ledge. It should be coming up after, oh no, this is the last stock, never mind. So their second stock, they had limit ready to go, right? And they were ready to try and find a way to actually take out that stock. I believe they're going to go for a cross slash to try and catch the horizontal recovery. But the horizontal recovery, was it Falco Phantasm? Is that what it is?
Yes. The side B is called Phantasm.
came out just a little too fast, and you got to keep in mind it's got those spike properties too, and I believe they actually stole not just the limit, but also just caught Listless off guard just a little bit, and I think that's what led to that game 1 victory for Cheeto. But, you know, overall not looking too bad. I think that Listless needs to dial it back a bit, and Cloud can play a very strong, patient game, especially those huge disjoint hitboxes. I'd like to see what they can bring out in the game 2.
Right, they ended up losing a couple of those stocks really, really early despite winning in neutral most of the time. It just so happened that they kept dropping early stocks to Cheeto, and credit to Cheeto for capitalizing on that, but still, it's a little bit unfortunate when you end up being defeated by yourself off stage more so than your opponent. But look at this, string keeps going.
Oh my god, it's just Luigi with some feathers, you know? Although there wasn't any KO at the end. Oh,
no!
That was a brave challenge from Cheeto because Listless could have potentially got past that and then decided to opt to actually just reset the stocks for both of them and really just stole a stock from Cheeto. But man, that was definitely worked out for him. He was able to close up the stock, only taking like 12% in total. But now he's got to find a way to just turn this around. The pressure at the ledge is huge.
Yeah, so during, or at the beginning of this game, I said that it was a little bit unfortunate because Listless ended up losing that game more so to himself and his own mistakes rather than Cheeto. That one he lost to Cheeto. Cheeto played that beautifully.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, shielding through the limit break cross slash as well. Now gets back to ledge, but he has, like you said, had a pretty hard time surmounting this ledge pressure. Hasn't really managed to regain center stage, but there he goes. Now he's got it again.
I do like the fact that Cheeto is utilizing the wall jumps right before the ledge, just try to create a little bit of a mix-up. We've seen it a couple times now, hasn't really done anything too crazy with it, but the fact that it's there, and I don't know if Listless has really caught on to that, so that could be a situation later on that Cheeto could use to really capitalize on, you know, keeping their stock alive a little bit longer. We'll see if they can keep it going, though. Oh, okay, never mind.
I have to point out, I love Cheeto's use of down tilt. I never see many Falcos use down tilt in neutral, but he's using it as a combo starter, which is a little bit unexpected, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, he just went for it again. Yeah, no, down tilt is a strong move. Always been a strong move for Falco, because not only is it a combo starter at lower percentages, but at higher percentages, it's a kill move, and we'll find a way to take stocks. And wow, what a situation right there, going way up top, chasing him to the top last zone.
Yeah, all the way up into the sky and make sure that he stays there. Now the up tilt out of shield. No combo starter though. Usually you see Falcos get a lot more off of those singular up tilts. Not this time though. Sends the blade beam right back at him and a laser for good measure. But still has had a hugely difficult time getting past these ledge traps.
Yeah, and right now, Listless is looking to find a way to equalize the stocks here. Not going to be able to find it. Was doing a good job of keeping Cheeto off stage and getting that limit charged up. But now you're getting into the combo game that Falco has, and this thing's like near infinite like possibilities. You just kind of up tilt once or down tilt in Cheeto's case, and just kind of let your imagination run wild. Look at that! Telling you once again, oh, just knowing he was going to air dodge in with the forward smash waiting for him. Cheeto going up 2-0.
Skip. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, anybody who may be listening, do not air dodge in against Falco. Ever. Ever. Because things exactly like that will take place, and you will lose stocks and games much, much, much earlier than you should otherwise.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough scenario, but look at this. Just going up there, trading, and just barely surviving, too. Actually, Listless almost got the stock right back. Unfortunately, just was not able to get it happen. But yeah, right there, unfortunate situation, and I get it. When you're Cloud, you don't want to use your limit to try and stay alive. You'd rather just try and stay on stage as you can. But as you can see, Cheeto just knew what was coming and just set himself up just right to close out that game 2. Now, one game away of taking the victory for their team. We've got to see if Listless has anything to say about that. Did play a little bit better there, but got caught up in some awkward scenarios like the very beginning, and it just wasn't really able to recover from there. So let's see if we can see a more consistent game out of this game 3 and see if Listless can find a way to turn this around.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that Listless has the right idea in certain situations, especially on the ledge, and especially when they get into advantage. They've been doing a really, really good job of taking that stuff for all that it's worth. But when it comes to disadvantage, they are losing out so hard, not just to their opponent, but to their own decision-making in disadvantage, that they are getting hard punished for so many things, and they don't have the opportunity to go back to playing neutral, to go back to being in advantage.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with what you're saying there. I mean, Cloud does have a lot of fantastic tools in neutral. And I think that what it comes down to is I think Listless needs to find a way to, like, get your onesies, twosies, get your hits, get your combos going, but then back out. Don't try to extend things more than you really need to, because it looks like Cheeto is just making you pay in a 0 to death to start off this game 3. This is not looking good, Last.
That is quite possibly the worst way you could have started out this game, right? Like, you started doing really well towards the end of the last game, so despite the fact that, yeah, Cheeto had a pretty big lead built up, you were bringing it back, you were doing good, and then you open up the game by giving him another huge lead again, and going right back into the situation that you found yourself fumbling in during the last game.
Right. And but right now, I mean, we are actually seeing Listless start to get things together here a little bit. Oh, okay. Decided to stall out a little bit just to not get deal with that down air, because, man, Cheeto has been on point with those. But you got to get this stock out of here now. You can see he's trying to space those back airs. A fantastic move for Cloud to try and take some stocks. But, oh, man, some way, somehow, Cheeto keeps finding themselves in the right spot. And that's another thing. You don't have to actually go out and hit somebody when they're off stage. You can just throw out a hitbox like you did with that Nair and just create so much pressure that the opponent feels like they need to throw out a move a little bit sooner than they really should, as we saw at that second stock.
Does manage to throw out that down air in disadvantage to be able to take that stock out, so it's not the worst case scenario. They are still in this game. They've got a lot of work to do to be able to make this up.
I mean, it's 77 right now, too, and you're not using that limit. That's a huge starter for Falco. That limit's going to be disappearing, and there it goes. Tried to go for the limit cross slash, but was not able to get it going. And you got to be careful that climb hazard as well.
He almost died there, and then he is going to die there. The same thing that he died to during game number 2. Again, you need to be very, very careful about air dodging in against Falco, or just holding DIing in general. You need to be consistently mixing up your DI in these situations, or you're just going to find yourself dropping stocks early. Regardless, though, very good stuff to Cheeto, very dominant stuff to Cheeto throughout the entirety of that first set. They played that beautifully, and like you said, as a result, that is going to be the LCHS Gators taking this set 2-0. We still have one more game to be played. It's for the bragging rights, We are still going to have the final 2 competitors for each of these squads facing off, which is going to be, I believe, Elka versus Tranquil.
And we saw Elka earlier. They were playing a little bit of Cloud and then messed around with the Rob for a little bit and actually did a fantastic job actually setting up his teammate Joy, warming them up a little bit, got that Pichu going, and as we can see, that's 2 3-0s in a row. So I can tell you right now, this LCHS team, they are cooking, and they are definitely playing very, very well right now. I would imagine they got some good practice in, got those hands moving all nice and loose, ready to go. Ready to go. And we're going to see exactly if, at least some way, somehow, if Tiger Smash 2 can get on the board here. Tranquil is got to try and get something going on. But Elka, I mean, they're no slouch either. We saw them playing a little bit earlier.
Yeah, Elka definitely going to be a pretty difficult opponent to overcome in this situation. But Tranquil, somebody we haven't seen yet. I believe we'll probably be seeing Elka pull out the Rob again. And Rob, well, he's a problem for a lot of people. He's difficult to deal with. He's tough to play against, and he's just all around a menace sometimes. Yeah. So we'll have to see what the counter play is in this situation. I do believe that we are going to be starting out on small battlefield, but I wonder who the other character we're going to be seeing will be, and I think it's going to be Kirby.
That would be cool if we got some Kirby in here. Kirby is a character who a lot of people tend to agree is on the lower part of the roster. It happens with the fact that they're not slow, Skiff. But what?
I think Kirby's bottom 1.
going to last for any Metafy stuff. So anyway.
Hang on there.
No,
hang
Kirby's
on there.
not bottom one.
Hang
that is ridiculous.
there.
So anyway, as I was saying, so Kirby is, a smaller character, lighter character, is a little bit slower than other characters his size, but the combo game that Kirby has and the pressure that they can put on some of these larger characters in general is absolutely insane. Like, it's wild. He can put down 60-70% sometimes. He's got all those multi-jumps to, really catch you off guard, especially when you're off stage. So we'll have to see exactly how they're going to be able to get their game plan going, and also a dash attack that's just absolutely nutty.
The dash attack is good in some situations in the fact that it does have the ability to cross up shields sometimes, but more often than not, there's enough end lag on it that you're going to be eating an F smash from any competent player. And we're actually seeing, sorry, I misread because they were on the wrong names earlier. LK is playing Kirby, while Tranquil is playing Dedede. So you've got a little bit of a canon matchup going on here for our final best of 5. We're going to have to see which one of these characters comes out on top.
I do like the matching color scheme between these two players. I don't know if that was coordinated at all. Probably not, but
hope
still.
So.
It would be pretty cool. But yeah, so we're going to be seeing Kirby again go against Dedede. This is a match I feel like we've seen a few times when you start looking at some of the characters and players that we've kind of had the pleasure of casting the past couple of years in names of Jaja, and Adamus. So, I mean, we definitely seen this matchup at least a couple times.
Yeah, and I mean, not even just Adamus. There are other players doing work with Dedede, like Pelly over in Europe, coming from Great Britain, who will be seeing at the Smash World Tour this weekend, repping both Sonic and Dedede in that tournament. Trying to throw out that Gordo, not going to be able to do it, and is going to eat a dash attack for his troubles. Now stuck off stage, goes for the stone, the down B, doesn't quite find it.
Okay, there we go. All right, definitely a scenario where they're just barely dodging that forward smash. And the dash attack, that's a very risky move. Now, if you try to use that while Kirby's trying to recover to the ledge, you can potentially 2-frame, and that 2-frame lasts for a very long time. You can find a way to take the stock there. But throwing it out in the middle of the stage, that is not something you want to be risking, because Kirby is going to find a way to punish that. And as we can see right now, this continues to pile on the damage here after taking that first stock.
Kirby definitely does excel at throwing out constant hitboxes, and against Dedede, that does serve a great purpose. LK doing a great job so far of just constantly exerting pressure, but they are going to eat a fair in that situation, and the lighter weight Kirby not going to be able to live through that. So Tranquil slowly making their voice heard, making their way back into this set, and Tranquil is actually going to land that up B.
Yeah, definitely you want to be careful throwing that out there. We've seen it a couple times already. I mean, one was when LK was off stage, so you're able to land without any real hassle, but that is a highly punishable move, landing on stage if you're not careful. But so far, good start. Oh, for a huge forward smash. Okay.
That was risky, and it didn't pay off at all. So I question the motives behind that, but sometimes, Skiff, you just have to go for those like Hail Mary plays, especially with the way that Tranquil is dominating the momentum here, but yet again, they find themselves stuck in end lag right in front of LK, and they're not going to hesitate whatsoever to just throw out that dash attack, throw out that F smash to punish.
We do see that Gordo starting to put in a little bit of work here, lands with the nair into the forward air. That's definitely a very strong move off stage, and I don't know what LK was really going for there. I'm not sure if they were trying to be a little silly and trying to just drag Tranquil down for a stock to just trying to not necessarily even things up, because you still would have lost. But I don't know. That was a little strange.
Sometimes the decision making gets a little bit weird in the heat of the moment, but it is hard to make good choices 100% of the time in situations like that. Trust me, as a competitor, it is difficult at the top level to just constantly make the right decision. Every once in a while, you make a mistake, and sometimes you eat some pretty hefty punishes for those mistakes, and that just seems to be what happened there at the end for LK. So Tranquil does, I believe, put the very first point on the board for their team. That's the first game that Tiger Smash 2 has won.
I believe.
Yeah, the other two were 3-0s.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You said LK. That's what threw me off. Tranquil got the first point for their team.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. That's why I was like, wait a sec. But no, you're absolutely right. That was definitely a very good job from Tranquil. And things started off a little bit slow for him, too. You know, we saw LK really kind of put down some crazy damage pretty quickly. And then Tranquil just, started doing some Dedede things. And started really making things work for himself. And now we were talking about how Kirby can really combo big characters like Dedede, right? Dedede's got some of the more wonky options in the game, like that Gordo, like his own multi-jumps and being a bigger character. So it's going to be interesting to see how both these players adapt to this game too.
Right, the Gordo combined with how the hammer works a lot in neutral actually does give Dedede some of the perfect tools to deal with Kirby's just constant exertion of pressure with just constantly throwing out hitboxes, because they are able to just basically beat it out with disjoints, right? It makes them able to ignore what Kirby's trying to do, and being able to do that is absolutely huge for the matchup, and almost connecting with Jet Hammer there.
Yeah, that was actually really well scouted. It's just Elko is just barely able to get that shield up just in time. And there we go, looking for that up tilt. And that up tilt is lethal. That is a different move in this game all of a sudden. It's not how it was when Ultimate first came out, but we're going to see the forward smash from Elka get that stock out of the way and going to continue to go on a rampage here. No, the platform actually stopped them from keeping that combo going.
Oh, goes for the F tilt out of shield there, but not going to find it. Oh, just barely misses. Actually, no, does connect with the back air. Great placement with the falling back air coming through from Tranquil. Is going to be able to take the stock back, and now looking for a lead, but they get caught by this. No! What?
I think they felt like they were in a situation where, no, Kirby can make it back. Okay, goes for the get-up attack, and that could be a really weird scenario where you potentially stage spike your opponent because of how weird the hitbox is sometimes and how some people recover into the stage, essentially.
What is going on?
It's just some, Kirby shenanigans, Nightmare in Dreamland. That's what it feels like.
They are swinging. Like, neither one of these players is holding back in the slightest, especially since Tranquil managed to find the lead, but then Elka just pulls the downbeat, takes the stock back, only 63% on the board. It can be a lot with how lightweight Kirby is, so he has to be careful. Chasing deep with the fair. Oh my
He's gonna make it back, all right? Yep, we'll find a way! Oh my god, with the butt hitbox! Gonna find a way to take that final stop.
What?
I'm gonna go look at this hitbox real quick because it might have been like they caught because Kirby, can stretch kind of weird sometimes. So I imagine it's one of those weird scenarios, but man, what what a final hitbox there.
Okay, here we go. Hang on. He comes back to stage, or he tries to come back to stage, makes it up on. Hello? Sakurai?
It was definitely a weird scenario, but hang on, I'm looking at the hitbox now. So thanks to some websites and tools that the Smash community's put together, we're able to see some of the hitboxes like this, and I'm actually looking at so it had to have caught Kirby's toe because there's no hitbox towards the back of Dedede at all. So it had to have been some weird scenario with the roll, because I believe you can catch rolls in some weird spots. But yeah, that's strange.
That is so funny. Like, I'm not even gonna front. That is hilarious.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. But here we go, getting into potentially the final game of the night here. We're going to see if Elka can find a way to get back on the board, or, just trying to, I mean, he's already got the, victory for his team. LCHS already took this, but again, like you mentioned earlier, bragging rights, just potentially finding a way to just sweep them entirely.
Absolutely, but it is going to have to be a reverse 3-0 to make that happen in the way that Tranquil has been playing. They do look like they know the Kirby matchup pretty well. They should be able to keep up this constant pressure.
Ooh.
Oh,
wow.
Yep, there it is. There's the first stock.
They definitely were going out there looking for that forward air, right? And Dedede's forward air, right, it looked bit disjointed, super quick, and can absolutely just destroy some stocks off stage. So, I mean, I do like how much Tranquil is not afraid to go out there, right? But he missed the first one. You get that up air, get the stage spike at it as well. Nice down tilt, actually catching Elka in a very weird scenario.
The F tilt as well, and is just consistently punishing everything that Elka is going for. Who goes for dare there? I want to know. I want to talk. Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Oh my god! Yo, Tranquil is absolutely just popping off here. You know what? It is what it is. Like, I know it's a little too late for everything, but still, great stuff so far. They are absolutely just kind of destroying Elka at the moment.
They've lost the battle. right? Or they've lost the war, excuse me.
Yeah.
But they're definitely looking to win the battle because look at the way that Tranquil is playing here. Looking for the swift 3-0, finds the inhale, and then the runoff fair for the stock. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, definitely a great statement so far. Going for that dash attack again, they've got to be careful. The one time I haven't seen him dash attack is when Kirby was off stage about to recover, and I feel like Tranquil could have gone for a dash attack there. Would have gotten the stock that they wanted. Instead, they keep doing it in the middle of the stage, and I don't know what they see that I don't.
I'm in disbelief. I'm in awe of this lad.
Hey, Dedede is built different, and so is Tranquil, as they lose their second stock. Elka not down, I mean, definitely down, but not out for sure. And again, the dash attack, I wonder if that's like a misinput.
Hello?
Hey, listen,
it
after
worked
the
last
situation,
time. It worked last time is the worst thing.
Yeah, because of what happened last
hang
time,
on.
you kind of need to put a little more respect. No, he's fine. Helicom recognizing, I don't want to deal with Dedede off stage more than I need to, so they're going to just back off here a little bit. Just try to see if they can get something else going. Oh, that was so smart. They threw out the Gordo at the weird angle there, right? Going up. So it covered like this weird wall where Kirby didn't feel comfortable recovering high. So they kind of just, faded back a little bit. And that's when Tranquil definitely made their money and went out there with another forward air to close it all out. Their pressure off stage is absolutely phenomenal.
Incredible. Amazingly played overall from Tranquil, and as a result, they are indeed going to be able to take that set over LK. At least, like we said, putting a point on the board for Tiger Smash 2. They lost the war, but they won the battle. They are going to be able to go out with their heads held high. They were able to take a set, and they put on one hell of a show, Skiff.
Absolutely. You're super correct on that one. But yeah, honestly, again, congratulations to LCHS for taking the victory here today. Well played by both teams. We saw a lot of good stuff here. And hopefully both these teams and their players continue to play against each other, continue to go to, maybe their locals, and just try to learn as much as they can, because there's a lot of promise for these players today to get even better than what we just saw. But honestly, again, GG's to everyone. Just great stuff all around.
Yeah, great stuff all around. But before we close this out, we do have to give another quick shout out to our great friends over at Eplex. So let's just take a look at this real quick. Eplex, of course, is your local esports and virtual reality complex featuring the Clutch Snack Bar, which is that's one heck of a name for a snack bar, Skiff. You can play, train, and compete in tournaments and leagues for all ages and all skill levels at Eplex, where they offer memberships, gaming lock-ins, and launch parties for brand new games. At Eplex, we welcome new gamers to come out and game together.
And again, yeah, just thank you so much for, helping to support a cause like this, allowing young kids to pursue esports. Honestly, I remember back when I was younger, I was their age, there was no way you were going to be able to make a living playing video games. But look at all these people now. These kids are definitely on the right track. Yeah,
absolutely. And just like these kids that we saw today playing in the PlayVS Showdown, there's so many people across the country, across the world with budding talent who could definitely make it as a competitor in esports. They just need the opportunity and the location to foster talent such as that, and Eplex is the perfect location for just that. But, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, thank you so very much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with some more PlayVS action, so make sure you come right back here. But until then, we'll see you next time.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise. And stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Nice keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. Don't tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but mans keep walking. Yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch man, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta